Welcome to the Tepper School of Business Multimedia Series. For more information on the Tepper School at Carnegie Mellon, please visit us at www.tepper.cmu.edu/multimedia. And now, here's your selected video.
Manchester Bidwell Corporation is a community-based arts and technology training center for poor people. Half of it is vocational education for unemployed adults, people who have lost a job, never had a job, people who are on public assistance. We train them for industry-specific career opportunities here in Pittsburgh. We also work with at-risk public school kids, grades 8 through 12, the Pittsburgh public school system. We use arts as a strategy to revitalize their learning, to revitalize their lives, and to change their career aspirations. We do it in ceramics, photography, and digital imaging. And so the wraparound is that Manchester Bidwell Corp works with people who have effectively been set aside by the economic and academic and social order. "50% of the minority kids, Black and Hispanic, are not graduating from our public school system in the country. It's in deep trouble. And many of the kids who are graduating are not graduating with the skills that are necessary for industry, to be productively employed, to have a future that is worth acknowledging. So we are convinced that there needs to be alternative strategies developed so that we can look at models of success rather than models of failure. And the best way to do that, in my view, is to create models in every American city reflecting the work we do in Pittsburgh, so you have a successful model that you can begin to pattern your public school system after, and that is how I think you can begin to get scale as the result of the ideas that we have. I believe that responsibility goes with position in life, that rather than just concentrate on the personal satisfaction of one's economic and political interests, I think success ought to come with it a level of responsibility that cares for others in the community, regardless of where you are. And that I believe that there's an obligation that comes with success to do something about improving the condition of others who were less fortunate than you were. So that, in my view, the people who are on the for-profit side and the people on the not-for-profit side really are in the same boat. The society is one thing. It's not split into these kinds of sectors that we've artificially created. And I believe that there is a great partnership to be developed between the best practices of the entrepreneurial community, the best practices of the not-for-profit entrepreneurial community. And that's how I believe we can begin to really get some scale and substance to solving our social issues. Well, I can speak autobiographically because an art teacher saved my life in Oliver High School in the Pittsburgh public school system. Got me excited about clay. I got pretty good at it. He helped me get into the University of Pittsburgh, where I enrolled as a freshman, where I now serve as a trustee. And so the arts was a bridge for me to walk across to a new life. Recognizing my experience in the 60s was successful, I created Manchester Craftsmen's Guild to repeat that experience with other public school kids along the same lines of thinking as Mr. Ross did with me. The program has grown up to be a pretty big deal. We now work with 500 kids from the public school system each week, grades 8 through 12, and consistently, year in, year out, we've been able to place these students in undergraduate programs, including this university where we're having this presentation today. On the arts side of the street, we work, as I mentioned, with at-risk public school kids. These are kids that, based on demographics, will probably not graduate from high school at the rate of 50%. We take those kids as early as 8th grade, 13 years old. We train them in the arts, and we put 90% of them in college every year for the last 17 years in a row, not necessarily in the arts. We use the arts as a strategy for these children to walk across to a new life. We change their imaginations, we change their perceptions of performance, and their attendance and grades go up, and that's how they go off to college. The vocational side, we have gotten very good at customizing specific training for local industry. We train technicians for Bayer, Calgon Carbon, BASF, Nova Chemical. We train IT people for the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. We train pharmaceutical technicians for the retail pharmacy industry. And we have a developing and burgeoning horticultural education program where we actually are training people for the horticultural industry. So that's the wraparound for the Bidwell Training Center. It's specific, customized training for local industry. Well, we have a network of affiliates. We're scaling the idea and scaling the corporation. And these affiliates are now operating in Cincinnati, Grand Rapids, and San Francisco. Same strategy, local unemployed people, local at-risk kids, vocational education, arts education in one location. 3 are up and running, and we have 8 in planning in addition to the 3 that are operating. New Haven, Columbus, Cleveland, Philadelphia, Charlotte, Austin, Minneapolis, and we recently signed up Halifax, Nova Scotia. It looks like Limerick, Ireland is stepping up. We have an early conversation in Israel and one in Vancouver, British Columbia. My general advice for students is to educate yourselves formally academically, but educate yourself socially. Understanding the way in which a community is put together, it seems to me, is vital to really understanding how to build a family, how to see that family in the context of the community where you may end up, how to understand and contribute to the well-being of the overall community. So I think that academic students have an obligation to also educate themselves in areas of life that may not be represented at the university level, but to take it upon themselves to investigate these opportunities as part of an enlightened development of a leadership profile that this country, and in some extent the world, really needs.